Hello.
Hello, hello.
How are you, B?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah, I like that you keep changing your profile picture for each movie we do.
It has to be done. How you doing, man? How was your week?
Good.
Anything
Played
interesting?
Magic. Yeah, I played Magic all day yesterday with my friends.
Nice. I didn't do anything. That's not true. Actually, I've been playing too much Fist of the North Star.
Oh, how is that?
I love it.
Oh, well, I've been playing a lot of Ghost of Tsushima still.
Still, and
Yeah, I'm in the last chapter.
you're allowed to play now.
It made me cry. It's the first time a video
What?
game's ever made me cry before.
Well,
And I am not a person who cries easily.
I'm literally never gonna play it. So, spoilers. Tell me what happened.
Your horse dies.
Oh no! It's just
I know,
like in the Last of Us 2.
Oh, that's stupid. I haven't played Last of Us 2, but I heard like you have to kill the dog, and then like right after it shows you like this montage where it makes you feel bad.
Well, no, you have to kill the dog, but also the horse that you're with for half the game just jumps on a landmine.
Oh, the Ghost of Tsushima is less stupid, I guess.
You never even played The Last of Us. How would you?
Well,
base
it's not
that?
jumping on a landmine.
If they had landmines.
That sounds pretty. That probably make me laugh, to be honest.
Yeah,
Before
yeah,
it jumps
it-
on a landmine, that's funny. It explodes.
It was pretty funny. I watched a
Yeah,
video.
I imagine
of,
that just made me laugh.
I watched a
This
video
one-
of a streamer who said, "If anything happens to this horse, I swear to God, I'm uninstalling this game," and the horse immediately explodes.
I saw that one out of context clip, and it's this one female streamer, and she's like crying, and then she's like, "That's the cutest fucking rabbit I've ever seen." And he gets hit with an air, and she goes, "I don't know a game that was meant to be for."
That was from The Last of Us Part 1.
Okay, that shows how much I know about fucking Last of Us.
So, you finally watched Pulgasari.
Pulgasari, yeah, it's a very interesting movie.
That's one word for it.
Yeah.
1985 North Korean kaiju movie.
Yeah. Produced by Kim Jong Il.
Directed by Kim Jong-il.
No, produced, not directed.
Oh, well, I mean, produced, directed, special effects, it's all Kim Jong-il. But in reality, it was directed by Shin Sang-ok. Ook? Anyway, he was uncredited.
Which is fucked considering all the things they put him through.
Yeah, they kidnapped... Well, Kim Il-sung was a huge fan of the director and Godzilla, among other kaiju films. So, he kidnapped Godzilla director and his wife to North Korea.
No, it was his ex-wife. I watched another video about this after. So, he wanted to kidnap someone, and so when they were in Hong Kong, it was either Hong Kong or Macau. He kidnapped his ex-wife, and then he's like, well, when the ex-wife is missing, because he still has a relationship with his ex-wife, he'll come looking for his ex-wife, who is an actress. And when she got missing, he kidnapped them too. And they were in captivity up until like the late 90s, I think.
Yeah,
They were in Paris, and then they escaped to a U.S. embassy
they were
to get
forced,
asylum.
they were forced to film all these North Korean propaganda movies, and Pulgasari was the last one that they filmed before they managed to escape.
Yeah.
I read somewhere that it's a propaganda metaphor for the effects of unchecked capitalism and the power of the collective.
Yeah, I'm one of those people who thinks it's annoying when people say everything's political, but I think, yeah, there's definitely a political message in this movie.
Well, yeah, it is a propaganda piece.
Yeah.
It's produced in North Korea. Of course, it's mildly political.
But I saw some other interpretations too, which I thought were interesting.
Oh, yeah.
That Pulgasari represents the Soviet Union, whose help directly led to the creation of North Korea. But by the 80s, that allyship wasn't as close as it was. So they're saying towards the end. I think like maybe we should talk about the movie first before we talk about the symbolism.
Yep. But
Okay.
first, a word from our sponsor.
Uh,
All right, let's
Did we
talk
do
about the
this-
movie.
It starts off with like this farm village in medieval Korea, and it's this blacksmith, and he's yelling at his. It's not his grandson. It's just some guy.
Yeah, I think it's like an apprentice.
Yeah, and he's like, I know you're a bandit. He's saying that to the guy. He's like, no, I'm just hiding these swords. Yeah, and then it turns out, yeah, he's in love with the blacksmith's granddaughter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whose name I forget her name. What's her
Amy.
name? Aisha. Amy?
Or
A-
Amy.
It's not-
A-M-I.
Ami. I think it's
Ami.
Ami. It's not. I don't think it's Amy.
Okay.
She's very important. She's the key to all of this. After that, then the evil governor comes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a governor, which I found very strange. Not a king or landlord, considering it's communist. You think it'd be a landlord.
True.
And he like wants them to make the blacksmith to make tools for war, and then all the iron, and then like torture him. And with his like last dying breath, he makes a little tiny kaiju figurine. And he's like, "This will protect the farmers." And then he
Yeah.
dies.
In true North Korean fashion, he died of starvation while in prison.
And then Ami, or Amy, let's call her Amy. I like Amy.
Yeah, me too.
Then Amy, the clumsy bitch, accidentally cuts herself and drips a drop of blood on the little figurine, and it comes to life
Yep.
through blood magic.
Pulgasari comes to life, and he's about, 4 inches tall?
He's honestly adorable.
Very adorable.
Yeah, one of my favorite shots of the movie is when the little baby fetus Pulgasari is sleeping in bed with them, in between the two main characters, and he's just these tiny little. It looks like they're sleeping with a little toy. It's very cute.
Exactly. Oh yeah, he eats metal.
Yeah, he eats metal. Apparently, this is based off a mythological Korean thing.
Yeah, he really likes his metal. Overnight, when he was sleeping with those people, he grew from 4 inches to 2 feet.
Yeah, just eating some
Yep.
metal.
He escaped where they were keeping him by eating the lock to the door and leaves. And then my favorite scene, or one of the two, was when one of the villagers was about to be executed.
It's the main guy, isn't it?
I think it was I don't know. I think so. He was about to be executed, and Pulgasari just chomps the executioner's sword.
Yeah, that's probably actually the best scene of the movie. Yeah, and then they decide to fight the evil governor with this little, like 5.5 foot tall kaiju, which is really funny. He looks really dopey.
Yeah.
I thought Manila from Godzilla was stupid looking, and he's like 5 feet tall, but Pulgasari looks way worse.
The governor decides to go to war against the villagers who are rebelling in Pulgasari, and guess who's in the armory?
Who?
Pulgasari. He's eating all the weapons.
Oh,
and
he's eating all the weapons?
He's 4 feet tall, and he kicks down the wall and leaves. The king gets pissed after the governor's assassinated by the villagers and recruits a general to quell the rebellion. And I love how many times they tried to just murder Pulgasari.
Yeah, they have like fucking rocket launchers, even though it's like fucking medieval.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's meant to be a Hawacha, which I know what it is because of Civ.
Oh, one funny detail is that, according to the governor, Pulgasari's made of rice.
Oh,
Yep.
I must have missed that. I guess, yeah, maybe he carved the statue out of rice.
Yep, the little idol was made out of rice, and then the girl bled on it. So, the woman, Amy, who bled on him to begin with, controls Pulgasari. So, the army kidnaps her to control Pulgasari and forces him into a cage, and they burn him alive. But
Yeah.
he doesn't die because he's too angry to die, and the army runs away. But Pulgasari flips all their boats and boils them alive.
Yeah, he just goes in the water and the water starts boiling.
Yeah, because he was so hot from the fire, they just all got boiled. And so they come up
What a
with...
terrible way to die.
Yeah, it's not great. They come up with another brilliant plan of digging a big hole and putting Pulgasari in it.
Hey, it worked for Godzilla, so...
But I think one of my favorite plot points of this movie was that Pulgasari was exorcised because the spirit of the blacksmith was inside of him. And then when he got exorcised, he fell into the hole that they dug, and they just covered him with rocks. Yeah, he's buried alive. He breaks.
Kill him.
No, he breaks free and disrupts the army's dance party to launch an attack on the capital city. And then North Korea invents the cannon.
Not the cannon, like the fucking missile launcher.
But they shoot these cannonballs at Pulgasari, and he just spits them right back at him.
Oh yeah, that was pretty great.
The sound effect.
I saw like the one scene when they were throwing rocks, the soldiers were throwing down rocks to the villagers, and it was clear they're meant to be like styrofoam rocks. They're like bouncing way too much.
Dude, they killed a lot of animals in this movie.
Yeah,
like that's not fake.
There's this one scene where they're like doing like a festival or a party, and they have like this pig that's hogtied that they're carrying around, and you can tell it is a real pig, and it's like alive still. It's squirming.
Yep, and then it cuts out. And I think earlier in the movie they just decapitated and gutted a horse. And then even 3 seconds after that pig scene, it goes over to them just ripping apart an animal for its meat.
Yeah.
Pulgasari's really mad that they tried to bury him alive and breaches the capital city, destroys the Capitol building, and stomps on the king of Korea. But he's so big now. I think he's well over 200 feet at this point.
Yeah, he's kaiju sized at this point.
He eats too much iron, and the villagers are worried that he'll go around eating all the iron in the world and start a war between all the countries. So Amy hides herself inside of a bell. And
then he eats all the villagers' equipment.
Yeah, he eats all the tools that they need to farm and survive, which is what started this in the first place. That they tried to take all their tools, but he eats all the iron. And he ate the cannons, he ate the weapons.
Yeah, and he's like sitting on his back, and he's like, oh, fuck.
He's so full
I'm so full.
But they realize, him consuming hundreds of tons of iron every day isn't really sustainable. So Amy has the brilliant idea of hiding herself in a bell and tricking Pulgasari to eat it while she is inside. And while
thus ending the blood magic.
Yeah, ends the blood magic because she wishes for Pulgasari to disappear, so he turns to stone and explodes. And it leaves...
Yeah, and then turns to dust.
Yeah, but out of the dust rises anew baby Pulgasari, who immediately turns into a spirit and enters the dead woman, who doesn't come back to life, by the way.
What the fuck? Mine didn't have that.
What? Oh, I guess I had the director's cut.
You must have. How did you watch it?
YouTube.
I watched it on YouTube too. I guess I must have missed it. I just assumed it was done.
Yeah, if you go in the last 30 seconds of the movie, it's baby Pulgasari.
Okay, maybe that's why, because it's only 30 seconds.
Well, you didn't watch the whole movie? Where's your professionalism, man? I was taking notes and I had to rewind to the last 10 seconds of the movie like 5 or 6 times to see if the woman opens her eyes after Pulgasari's soul enters her, but nope, she's dead.
I mean, I took notes too, but
You know what I want now? Oh, thus.
oh yeah, no, there's little baby Pulgasari.
Thus ends
I don't know how. Yeah,
Pulgasari. I am more upset than I should be that Pulgasari has not appeared in any Godzilla films.
well, I mean, it's not owned by Toho.
Well, Godzilla versus Pulgasari?
Do they have copyright laws in North Korea? It's communist, supposedly.
I'm not too familiar with the laws of North Korea. But there's a lot of fan art of Pulgasari fighting Godzilla monsters.
Yeah, I mean, we kaiju fans are a very obsessive bunch, so it makes sense.
Yeah, you've watched what, every single Godzilla movie?
I think so.
Here's my hot take. I
What?
think that early Japanese films are terrible, including early Godzillas.
What?
Yep.
Fuck.
Yep.
Fuck you. In the pot. I'm not friends with you anymore.
We're business partners now. You're no longer friends. We're in this together, though. I think one of the only redeeming qualities of the early Godzilla films was it was just a man in a suit in a little tiny city destroying everything.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of the appeal of the Showa series.
It's like with early Power Rangers episodes, they just go around in suits.
Like, oh, we need a bad guy for Godzilla. Robot Godzilla.
No, I'm a fan of the recent kaiju movies, like well, not the 1999 or 2000 Godzilla.
You talk about the legendary ones.
Legendary ones.
Legendary,
Oh,
the
Legendary
company.
Pictures.
Yeah,
Yeah. The new ones.
yeah.
Those are
That
really
would be
good.
the Godzilla 2014 and Godzilla King of Monsters.
Yep. Do you know if they announced a sequel for those?
Yeah, Godzilla vs King Kong.
Oh, that's
right. It's supposed to come out this year, I think, but then the Rona happened.
Yeah, that's a shame.
But yeah, and then also I believe Toho, they're making a Japanese one too. They have the deal they have with Legendary is they're not allowed to do a live action Godzilla movie the same year as Legendary.
Okay.
But I think that deal is ending this year.
Huh. Well, I'm really glad that kaiju movies in general have been brought back as a genre. I think it really kicked off with Pacific Rim success.
Yes. Yes, I agree. I'm so happy. Did you see Shin Godzilla?
Shin Godzilla.
That came out 2016. It's Japanese.
I'd have to see a picture of it.
Oh, it's like where Godzilla looks real fucked up.
Let's take a look. Shin
It's
Godzilla.
probably one of the best Godzilla movies ever.
Oh, yeah.
At least in my opinion.
I've seen
Yeah,
it.
I was so lucky. I got to see that in theaters.
Where'd you see it in theaters?
In college.
They had it in American theaters?
Yeah, for like a week.
Oh, well, that explains why I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Or I didn't see it in theaters, I watched it online.
Oh, it's unfortunate. I have it on Blu-ray. I want to see it in a proper screen.
I mean, I'd be down. You
Yeah.
love buying your movies, don't you?
I have a huge Blu-ray collection.
That's true.
It can take physical media from my cold, dead hands.
Oh. One thing I don't like about physical media is that it can be lost or destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, digital media, you can have several backups of.
Well, I mean, yeah, if you do what you do and pirate shit,
Yar.
but I'm talking about like shit like my dad got divorced a couple years ago, and then like my mom took like the DVR
No.
in the divorce, and he's like, I don't have anything now. I'm like, yeah, that's why you fucking get physical media. It can't be taken away from. I guess in that case, it might have been taken away.
I mean,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. I have several movies that I've pirated, and then I've gone out and then bought the DVDs to support the creators, so I'm not completely freeloading over here.
That's good. Oh, I feel like we've gotten a little off topic. We need to get back to Pulgasari.
Okay, what else is there to
Okay.
talk about Pulgasari?
Well, no, we didn't talk about the symbolism.
Oh,
Like,
yes,
yeah.
that's right. The symbolism of unchecked capitalism and the power of the collective. Oh,
Yeah, but
you know how I think they really distinguished Pulgasari from Godzilla?
no.
They made Pulgasari have powers and skills.
I don't know. Maybe not as many skills as fucking the Mac.
It's true.
I just realized we watched a capitalist, basically a commercial last week, and this week is Korean communism propaganda.
Yeah, we watched
Two ends of the spectrum.
capitalist propaganda, and then the next week we do communist propaganda.
But I actually saw some. Yeah, I saw one video that had some interesting interpretations. It said that Pulgasari represents the Soviet Union, which helped the North Koreans, and then is no longer their ally. So that's why Pulgasari becomes evil and eats all the farmers' stuff.
Huh.
I saw another one, which said that the kidnapped South Korean director was playing with fire and was basically saying that the Pulgasari represented the Kim dynasty.
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah, about how he helped them originally, but then turned on the people. Which if that's true, I think that director has some huge balls. Holy fuck! Apparently, there's a whole documentary about this poor director and actress.
Really?
Yeah, it's called "Of Monsters and Dictators" or something. Like a lot of the best bad movies always have good backstories, but I feel like this one in particular, the backstory is far more interesting than the movie itself.
Yeah, it's very unique. I can't think of another movie where a director is kidnapped and forced to make movies.
Yeah, it's certainly very funny, or not funny, it's kind of scary. But another interesting thing, they use that kidnapped South Korean director's connections too. He got some Japanese special effects artists to help him with this movie.
Huh. I wonder how that went over.
Yeah. Like one of the guys who were in Godzilla suits, I think he was involved in this, and he was Pulgasari.
So how do you think that phone call went? Calling from North Korea to his Japanese bud saying, "Hey, kind of being held. We're still bros, right? I'm kind of being held captive by."
Hey, hero, if you don't come and help me, they're gonna shoot me in the fucking head. Please, I need help. Please just put on this stupid suit. I don't want to die.
That's a true homie right there.
Yeah, I mean, if you called me that, and if you don't help me, you're gonna get shot in the head. I imagine I would say yes.
You imagine you'd say yes, or you'd say
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's kind of a far plane ride.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. One of the reasons, in the beginning of the movie, it's mentioned that all the villagers were dying of starvation.
So it really is a North Korean movie.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of those were sets. That's just really what North Korea looks like.
Yeah, apparently. You know something interesting about North Korea?
What?
One of the few countries where weed is 100% legal. Because that's where marijuana actually comes from, is that area of the world. Apparently something that's big there's meth.
Well, yeah, you gotta work the fields.
Yeah, because meth
17-hour
helps
shifts.
with starvation.
That's true. I mean, it's better than eating your family or grass.
Yeah.
Dude, North Korea is so messed up.
Yeah.
Not nearly as messed up as some other Eastern countries.
I don't know. I feel like North Korea is pretty up there.
I still don't see the symbolism here of unchecked capitalism. I get the power of the collective with
There's
the,
no
with the
way.
rebels.
I don't see unchecked capitalism, because they wouldn't make it so unchecked capitalism helps them if it's going to be a propaganda movie for communism.
Well, I think that
even if in the end it does a bad thing.
I think that the unchecked capitalism must somehow tie in to the government. Oh, when they took all the farmers' tools and they took all their metal, that happened in real life. I don't remember where, but for military use, silver and iron and other metals were confiscated, and steel.
In the 50s, China tried to they did all that to make iron, or no, to make steel in people's backyards to make steel, and a bunch of farmers using low temperature furnaces makes shitty steel that's useless. so they just wasted a bunch.
Wait, China in the 50s, you said?
Yeah, this is during the Great Leap Forward.
Yeah. Not exactly what I'd call it. They did come up with some very stupid laws.
Yeah, like one of the laws is to kill sparrows because they saw them as pests,
Yep.
and then it turns out the sparrows eat all the bugs, and the bugs went unchecked and eat all the crops, and there's massive starvation.
And then to deal with the massive starvation, the head of China put out a notice. What was it? Mao Zedong at the time said, "Hey, anyone have any good ideas? Come to the capital and give it to us." And whoever showed up was executed.
Oh, that's the campaign of flowers. That was not the best leader.
You know,
Killed more people than Hitler.
yep, more than I think Stalin. I mean,
I think he's number one. I mean, yeah,
it was mostly through the starvation.
Yeah.
What other kaiju franchises are really out there? I mean, modern
ones,
modern digestible kaiju franchises. Besides Pacific Rim 2, we don't talk about.
I didn't even see that.
Good.
Yeah. If more Korean, Bong Joon-ho, he did The Host.
Oh, would you even really consider that a kaiju movie?
I mean, it's pretty small for kaiju, but
yeah, and wasn't there only
if you want a giant monster attacking people, although that movie's really more about a family relationship. But yeah,
he's
just thinking off the top of my head.
The guy,
Yeah?
he directed The Host, another movie, and also Parasite.
Yes, Parasite. He also did Okja, and he also did Snowpiercer. He's a very good director. I love him. He's probably one of the best current directors.
He, I think, does an excellent job of injecting symbolism into movies. Even if it's not really detectable on the first watch, if you kind of pay attention. But again, it's a stretch, I think, to call The Host a kaiju movie, because if two monsters don't beat the shit out of each other, I don't know if I really count that.
Well, that means the first Godzilla movie doesn't count. Other kaiju franchises, Gamera, that's an obvious one.
That's a spin-off?
Not of Godzilla.
Oh.
It's a different company.
And then they had a crossover.
They've never had a crossover.
What?
I would come in my pants if there's ever a crossover between the two.
Gamera,
so happy.
That's not the giant turtle, is it?
That is the giant turtle.
I could have swore that him and Godzilla were best friends.
No.
What?
They've never appeared in a movie together.
Ugh.
Maybe like if there's a comic or something.
He was in... Gamera was in the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
Friend to all children is here to save you.
Oh, thank goodness! I'm so
Do you remember that one?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, but Gamera is the friend to children.
Yep, that's the one in Billy and Mandy.
He's a friend to... Oh, I remember it was Kregara. And he screams, Kregara!
Would you consider King Kong a kaiju movie?
I don't think so if you don't count The Host. But then the Japanese King Kong movie, made by the same company as Godzilla Toho. It's called King Kong Escapes, where King Kong fights a giant octopus. King Kong in this one is kaiju size.
Okay.
It's like Godzilla size. He fights a giant octopus and a giant dinosaur named Gorosaurus and a mechanical King Kong called Mecha Kong.
Of course.
Yeah.
Have you seen all of the newer King Kong movies as a build-up to Godzilla vs. King Kong?
I saw Call of Skull Island, yeah.
It
was pretty good. I like the 60s Vietnam vibe it had.
Yeah. I bet you're rooting for Godzilla, though. I mean...
Yes, I am. But I think that in the end there's going to be something else. Both of them are going to fight together. That's what's going to happen.
I hope they fight Biollante.
I would love if they did Violante. I don't think they will. I'm surprised how much people how popular Violante is.
Yeah, Biolante's awesome.
Violante is awesome, but even my one coworker who's not really that into Godzilla is his favorite's Violante too. I like that it's half Rose, half Godzilla, half human.
Half man, half bear, half pig.
Super ethereal.
Are you very familiar with 1950s and 60s psychiatry and psychology experiments?
Elaborate.
Let's see.
Are you talking about like the Stanford prison experiment?
That's one of them.
No, Little Albert. I mean, you're talking to a psych major, so I know some things.
Oh, that's true.
Little Albert was my favorite. I forget what year that was, but basically they got like a little newborn, and every time they would have him touch something, they would do a loud noise in his ear, so that would make him afraid of white fluffy things when he became older.
Oh God. It reminds me of that experiment with the monkey, where whenever it would go to its mom, I think they would shock it.
I know, you can't do shit like that anymore.
Yeah, it's a goddamn
Like,
shame.
let's just... Yeah, it's a goddamn shame we can't psychologically torture monkeys and newborns.
Well, how are we supposed to know the depths and breadth of human psychology if we can't psychologically torture people?
Yeah, it turns out if you torture someone, they become fucked up.
Yeah, but
We need to do more experiments for this.
You like superhero movies, don't you?
Yeah,
I
I
think
like
we-
cape shits.
I think we've talked about this. Have you seen the Unbreakable trilogy?
I haven't seen Glass, but I loved Unbreakable. Split seems to be the unpopular opinion. I thought Split was kind of dumb,
Well, regardless of
and
whether
I
you
never
think,
saw Glass.
regardless of whether you think Split was dumb or not, that actor was excellent.
Oh yeah, no, he was great. He was the best part. It was everything else that was stupid.
How the hell he played like well over a dozen characters in that film. Yeah, Glass was fantastic.
Really? I've heard it was terrible.
What?
Yeah, I've not heard a single good thing about it.
You 6.7 out of 10. That's not bad. I liked Glass. I liked Unbreakable. I liked.
I
Split.
loved Unbreakable as a teenager.
And Glass is a crossover basically between Unbreakable and Split.
Well, yeah, I mean, I remember when I saw Split, I was like, what the fuck? At the end, I'm like, this is dumb.
Well,
The twist.
are you ever gonna watch Glass, or can I just tell you what happens?
You think it's good? I guess I'll watch it. I mean, I kind of like watching. Is it in Philadelphia?
Yeah, all of M. Night Shyamalan's movies are in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I'll watch it then.
But
Yeah,
I'll just give you a little rundown of the plot. The Split Man, Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson are all in a psych ward because they all think they have superpowers, and they're debating whether or not their superpowers are real or not.
That does sound pretty interesting.
But I can't think of any other real superhero movie where it kind of is realistic in terms of what if people actually did potentially have superpowers.
Oh no, there's two. There's Defendor and then there's Super. Super's the one I'm thinking of. Super's pretty good. I remember it being better than Defendor.
But does he have superpowers, or is he
No,
just a
he doesn't. He
vigilante?
just has a bat.
No, I mean Batman doesn't have superpowers either. But yeah, Pulgasari. How cursed would you rank Pulgasari?
Not nearly. I mean,
I'd give it a 1.
movie itself a 1. Backstory absolutely 10. 10 cursed.
10 cursed. Damn, I was gonna.
They
give it
fucking
a-
kidnapped a director and forced him to do it. What could be more cursed than that?
Well, we'll find out in future installments. I'm looking at Black Devil Doll from Hell specifically.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. But yeah, the movie itself, I'd give a 1 curse, and then the backstory, I'd give that like a 6.
I give the backstory 10. That's kidnapped them for over 10 years.
Oh, it was 10 years?
Like I don't know the exact time, but yeah, like a long ass time.
Oh man.
Like
Well-
Pulgasari wasn't the first movie he made, I think.
No, it was the last one. I think he made at least 3 movies. But yeah, I didn't know it was for 10 years. That makes it a
Maybe it
little
wasn't
bit
for
worse.
10 years, but
Well, at least Pulgasari came out of it.
8 years. It was 8 years.
8 years. Still.
8 years.
You know, a lot of people escape North Korea through Paris. Like,
Really?
yeah, people in the government, they get like special permission to go abroad if they're high ranking enough, and sometimes Kim, whoever it is, says okay, and they go to Paris. I don't know if there's like a summit there or something, and then they just go to an embassy and say help.
I don't know about Korea, but Japan has this weird cultural obsession with England, not England, France, and they have like this idealized version of Paris. And like a lot of the times when Japanese people will go to Paris, they'll become underwhelmed, and then they'll become very depressed.
Yep.
And this happens well enough. It has a name. It's called Paris syndrome.
And
it happened.
I was going to say the Japanese embassy specifically has a little department set up to deal with people who are suffering from Paris syndrome.
Rome's much better than Paris.
Got to watch out for all the gypsies, though.
I mean, they're in both. And when I was in Rome, I didn't deal with any gypsies, or I guess Roma. Gypsy's an offensive term.
Sure.
You know how they came up with the term gypsy?
I've heard it, but tell me again. I forget.
In medieval times, they're like, oh, gypsies are kind of brown, so they must be from Egypt. Let's just call them a shortened version of Egypt.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I imagine whenever you go on vacations, you always go to like big tourist traps and you go sightseeing.
I mean, that's where the con artists would go.
It's true. That's not what I do. Whenever I'm on vacation, I go to like some of the worst places I can intentionally to experience some of the culture.
Mm-hmm.
I ever tell you when I took a trip to London, how one day I walked down a set of stairs, and you know, London's always under constant surveillance with their CCTV cameras.
Yeah.
I walked down a set of stairs by the river, and I said, hey, there aren't any cameras here. The next day I walked down the same set of stairs and it's covered in blood.
Holy fuck.
I think I have a picture of it.
Maybe that's why the person got murdered there. There's no cameras.
Exactly. Did I ever tell you I went to London for mainly to go to the Doctor Who museum?
Yeah.
And I wasn't too familiar with London's layout, so I took the train. Or sorry, the tube.
The tube, yeah.
I took the tube, and I got dropped off, and it turns out this Doctor Who museum is smack dab in the middle of the Middle Eastern district of London, which is essentially the eastern third of London is just full of people of Middle Eastern descent.
Asians, as they call them. They call like Indians and Pakistani people Asians, which is confusing for Americans.
Yeah, well, as we've previously established, Asians are the ones that came out of Mount Sinai, or whatever.
No, Mount Kailash.
Whatever. And then the other ones dug their way out of the sand. But anyway, I ended up in the Middle Eastern district of London, and my phone died, which was my GPS to get to the museum. And nobody would talk to me.
Really?
No one looked me in the eyes. I went up to there on almost every street corner. There were people that were doing something similar to the Salvation Army, ringing bells, but they were asking for money to help their brothers in Syria, which, you know, I understand. But I went up to one and was like, yo, I'm super lost. And I don't know what he said to me in Arabic, but I imagine it wasn't very nice.
Oh. Well, I'm sorry you had that experience.
Yeah, I eventually got my way out, though, after I went into a very nice kebab shop and bought like $30 worth of kebabs so the guy would tell me where to go.
Wow. Yeah. I'm glad you got out of that or acid thrown in your face.
That's true. Oh, there was one. I can't believe people do that. I mean, it's terrible.
Or acid?
Yeah, it's terrible, but I I remember one story of this guy went up to a woman to throw acid on her face for not marrying him, and the wind just blew it right back in his eyes.
Sorry, that took me a second to process.
The same thing happened in World War II. The Germans shot off a bunch of mustard gas.
You mean World War One?
Yeah, well, the Great War. The Germans shot off a bunch of mustard gas, and the wind changed directions, and they didn't have their gas masks ready.
Oh, speaking of horrible ways to die.
I think it's a little ridiculous that they started using chemical weapons, but God forbid Americans bring shotguns to the trenches.
Oh yeah.
It's inhumane. You know, I don't understand. Well, I understand, but I hate that a lot of history books just scrub history and warp it to...
It's a Goya painting. Sorry.
No, it's fine. They warp history to kind of get their message across. Like with Christopher Columbus, they don't mention that, you know, he murdered a bunch of Native Americans. They just say, hey, Thanksgiving, good guy, discovered America.
I don't think they celebrate Christopher Columbus on Thanksgiving.
Oh, fuck, I don't know.
Yeah, no, Columbus, not a nice guy.
Pretty.
I think the city of Columbus is trying to change their name.
I think, oh, you know, he was kind of a jerk, so that's justified. But the Washington Redskins changing their name, I think that's a little silly.
I think they should have changed their logo to a potato.
Why?
Redskin potatoes.
Oh no. Actually, you know what? Yeah.
that way, they're like, what? It's not talking about Native Americans anymore.
I've always wanted to go to a pachinko parlor.
Oh my god. I didn't go to one, but I walked by a whole bunch when I was in Japan. You cannot, like, see at all. It's just filled with cigarette smoke, because that's the only place you're allowed to smoke cigarettes. And they just sit there and just smoke. Like, walking by, you just hit with cigarette smoke.
Yeah, I've heard pachinko isn't always a game of luck. There's a lot of skill to it as well. And there are, like, pachinko experts that just sit there and pachink all day.
I'm sure there's fucking slot machine experts, too.
True.
Yeah, there's, like, all these different brands for, like, pachinko machines, too. Like, there was a Madoka Magica one. I got excited. I was like, oh, Madoka Magica? What is it? And I'm like, oh, it's a pachinko machine. I don't care. I saw a Metal Gear Solid one, too. Pissed me off. I'm like, fuck you, Konami.
Why?
Because they kicked out Kojima. He's no longer part of Konami, but Konami still owns Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
But they're only interested in making, like, fucking pachinko machines, not any games.
One reason that I'm glad they kicked him out was because it really gave him the creativity outlet that he needed and was restricted by Konami, like with Death Stranding, which I have not played.
I haven't played either.
It seems like something I'd enjoy, even though, you know, it's not particularly action-packed.
I heard that, like, it wasn't, like, considering how much hype there was before it came out, it really didn't have much fanfare after it did.
Yeah, because people actually played it.
Yeah, those trailers were bizarre, where you go up the guy's butthole and you see a baby. I was like, what the fuck? What's this game even about? What's the gameplay like? And then apparently you just walk around, find product placements for Monster.
Yeah. I'm really mad that they canceled the, what is it? PT Silent Hills?
Oh, that game looked amazing.
Yeah, they even pulled the demo off the store.
Why?
Yeah, you can't play
Just release the demo.
That would have been
Yeah,
amazing. Like Silent Hill, I don't find it particularly interesting. The backstory and everything is cool, but that seemed like would have been a really good addition to the franchise.
Have you ever heard of the Silent Hill wiki mod? Who had like this circumcision obsession?
No.
No, he insisted. I forget which. It was either the second Silent Hill or the third Silent Hill. Was completely an allegory for male circumcision. And how the whole thing was basically him, the character, dealing with his trauma of being circumcised.
What?
And he was like the most senior mod on the whole wiki. So he would just edit these long articles about circumcision.
Ooh.
And no one could do anything about it.
Was this
And eventually all-
resolved?
Yeah, eventually all the mods came together and voted him out. But he was like also like a major bot of like some other wikis too. He's like, all these things I like, they're about circumcision.
I imagine that you have not been keeping up with Gail Cord Schuler. She had to deal with a lot of strikes on her channel, so she didn't upload for a bit because her audiobook rendition of The Rape of Brent Spiner got taken down off of YouTube.
Poor Gail.
Yeah, poor Gail. But
How is she taking this coronavirus
yeah,
stuff?
I was about to say.
What's her theories?
Well, her theories, which by the way, not theories, these are real true facts, is that Laurie McBride's bukkake corona bombs, that she goes outside and films the clouds and says it's Laurie McBride's bukkake bombs spreading coronavirus. And
Bukkake bombs?
Yep. Nuclear bukkake bombs to spread
Why does
Jesuit
someone her
semen.
age know what bukkake is?
I don't know. It's Gail. So she's taking it pretty well, I'd say. She's still set.
Yeah.
She's still set to marry Hugh Jackman, Brent Spiner, Vladimir Putin, Jesus Christ, and several others.
Okay, the other ones I get, but Putin?
Yep. Vladimir Putin.
Why Putin? I don't even think he knows English.
Her third video is the first known video evidence of her marriage list. This is also where the concept of brain-to-brain communication occurs. She explains that Vladimir Putin showed her how to have sex this way back in spring of 2003. In the video, she describes this form of lovemaking as a way to stay safe and keep her men alive. So Vladimir Putin showed her how to have brain-to-brain communication sex in 2003.
What kind of Demolition Man bullshit is that?
The rabbit hole for Gail goes deep.
I always find this kind of stuff interesting, but I always feel bad because this is a person who's mentally unwell.
Yeah.
I mean, did the people who follow her, do they interact with her?
Yes.
I don't like that. You need to it's like in the Truman Show. You need to let them just act on their own.
Well, they
Keep them
don't.
safe.
She doesn't really acknowledge them. They just kind of say. They kind of. I don't want to say enable, but they definitely enable her. Presently, she believes she is the president of the USA and empress of the world. However, she is content in allowing Trump to run the day-to-day operations of the USA. Yeah, she is.
What does she think about Joe Biden?
She doesn't have too much to say on Biden, apparently, except
I'm sure
I
she
think
will
she calls
eventually.
them criminal neocons.
Well, I mean, she's not wrong. So,
I think she just released a new book. Have you ever heard the audio rendition of The Rape of Brent Spiner?
can't say I have.
No, it's a children's audiobook. And
Children's?
Yep, it's a children's audiobook and was fully it had art made for it.
Art?
Yep, it's a children's audio picture book.
Now, remind me, why does she like Brent Spiner? I like Data too. He's my favorite Next Gen character. Why is she obsessed with him?
Here, I'll read you this paragraph. Gail's primary obsession is with Brent Spiner. The delusional structure of her paranoid schizophrenia is elegant. If one of the people she's obsessed with makes a statement contrary to her delusional fantasy, she attributes it to that person's Jesuit clone. That doesn't really answer the question. Although once a fan asked Brent Spiner in a Star Trek alumni Q&A if he ever heard of Gail, Spiner stated, "It's only been going on for 22 years. She has a rich imagination and God bless her." And Gail attributed this comment to a Brent Spiner Jesuit clone.
Acknowledging her is like the worst thing you could do.
Currently, Brent Spiner currently resides on the Church of Gail spaceship, but the Jesuits cloned him, and his clone is attending conventions on Earth.
Good for him. Good for his Jesuit clone. Yeah, the conspiracy people in general, they tend not to go for the Jesuits. It goes Jews, generic Hollywood, then Jesuits, I've noticed. She is a weird cum thing.
Yeah, she does. Also, she's had a yeast infection for the past 15 years.
What? What?
Yep.
Uh,
I love Gail.
no husband, right?
She has an ex-husband.
When did they get divorced?
Early 2000s or late 90s.
Oh wow, that's about when she went insane, correct?
Yeah, that sounds about right. After this, would you be interested in watching the rape of Brent Spiner?
I'm watching the trailer on her YouTube channel for this.
No. Anyone who's for some reason still listening,
Yeah, all two of you.
Gail Cord Schuler, check her out.
Yeah, if you like weird, crazy people on the internet,
Which I am a big fan of.
yes, you are quite the fan of. I'm no one fan of a classic Chris Chan, but I think Chris Chan is, or Christina now, I guess.
Yeah.
It's gone on a little too long.
Well, after the dimensional merge of 2019, she kind of dumbed things down.
Yeah, I feel like
Are you familiar?
I don't like it when people interact. You need to just like it's like
Spectator sport.
a national park. You just look at the animals. You don't fuck with them.
Are you familiar with Christina's dimensional merge of 2019?
No, I guess I am not up to date on my lore.
Well, that's a shame because in mid-December of 2019, our universe, C-137, collided with the Rule 34 universe, and all of our fictional
A
characters.
what universe?
All of the fictional characters in those universes became reality, and a majority of people did not survive except for Chris Chan and his loved ones who were saved, and now he can be with Sonichu forever.
Does she not go outside?
I don't know. I don't want to really get. I don't want to see things from Christina's point of view.
Yeah, I don't think anyone does.
I don't think that our mortal brains can comprehend the enigma that is Christina's mind.
Yeah. I think you're right.
That's Pulgasari.
That's Pulgasari.
That's Pulgasari. Well, we went from talking about a 1985 North Korean kaiju movie to schizophrenic people on the internet in love with Jesus and Vladimir Putin.
And Sonichu.
And yeah, of course. What was I about to say? How's the logo coming?
Okay, bye. The cutest fucking rabbit I've ever seen. And he gets hit with an arrow and she goes,